Hello, I am Jambatuga. I am the author of QCObjects framework, and I want to introduce QCObjects. QCObjects got recently a recognition in the Go Global Awards as a top placer in the category of artificial intelligence. Let's get to know a little bit more about this product. What is QCObjects? QCObjects is a full-stack framework to produce full-stack applications that are meant to work into the larger scale projects of commercial business purposes. And you can deliver applications for multiple devices in different environments. And it's also cross-platform as it is based on Node.js. You can do, with QCObjects, you can do more with less code. A framework that is meant for commercial business purposes. And the companies are using it to maintain and develop internal applications, gateways and APIs, and microservices middleware. But why you should have QCObjects adopted into your company? Well, if you got a business, you probably want to launch new projects as fast as possible. And you want to minimize your costs of proprietary software acquisition. Also, you could want to increase productivity in almost 10x and to create high-performance applications for larger scale projects. You want to transform your software solutions into digital assets that can add value to your business. And you want to create disruptive innovations every single day at lower cost. And you want to start becoming a part of the open core model to take advantage of the new digital economy. The integration ecosystem of QCObjects is growing day by day. We got integrations for a bunch of cloud platforms, and also you can deploy straight away to GitHub pages and GitLab runners. You could also use the Docker playground to learn more and experiment in your own software laboratory. You can start learning from the Electron app template to start doing desktop applications, or you can have a look to the mobile templates like the Adobe Phone app template. You can use any editor you want to work in QCObjects, but the most used editors are Atom, Visual Studio Code, and IntelliJ IDEA. You can deploy QCObjects to Netlify or even to GitHub or any cloud platform like AWS, DigitalOcean, Azure Cloud, and Google App Engine. QCObjects is well known in almost 80 countries around the world. So thank you for your support and keep growing our community. We got $120,000 per year, and one download is made every 8 to 10 minutes. That's not bad. We got some sponsors right now. We have been sponsored by Microsoft, DigitalOcean, JetBrains, Startup Chile, Stack, and Amazon Web Services. Start learning today. You can download the book, or you can go straight away to the GitHub repo that is for free and open source under LGPL version 3 that is meant for commercial purposes.
Hello everyone. So we are ready to start the explanation in depth. So for those who can't attend live today because of their time zone is different from now, this is going to be recorded and you can access on YouTube and on different social networks that we are going to be publish this video. So enjoy it anyway. I'll be trying to explain everything today as much as I can. So let's go.
Learning and using a framework allows you to develop apps faster than ever. It is good practices and is the start point of your career as a professional programmer. QCObjects is a powerful framework which you can use to develop backend and frontend of your full-stack web applications with a modern syntax interpreted at runtime. Get started with QCObject framework and create applications in one stick. Install it now in DigitalOcean on Amazon Web Services in just one click.
Here we are. Greetings to different countries. We have here people of Algeria, Pakistan, India, China, Chile, Somalia, Sri Lanka, Jordan, Mexico. So we have also people of Morocco, Libya, Philippines, Rwanda, Nigeria, Mexico, Ghana, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Laos, Libya, and Cambodia. I hope to not miss any country of you. If I miss something, you tell in the comment, please. So here we go. We're gonna start. If you got any questions, feel free to comment in the comment section, or we also got a group chat, so you can comment there as well. Unfortunately, if the platform is not allowing to feature some comments in the comment section, so if you want to be featured in the screen, you got to comment in the official comment section of the event. So otherwise, you're not gonna be featured on the screen. But anyway, I can read all the comments and I can answer your questions. So here we go. Cool. So one thing I didn't mention before is we got a commercial license as well for QCObjects framework that is open source and for free. You can download it for free from internet. But we also have a commercial license that is especially made for large companies that are looking for a commercial way to distribute their products. So they can rely on QCObjects for that purpose. With the commercial license, we got 24/7 support, and we are delivering to your company a microservice API, and also we have an enterprise training pack that is meant for rapid adoption with a maximum amount of people of 100 people in a room. That is, they can be virtually or physically. It depends on the country. For most of the countries are virtual sessions, but if you are in Chile, we can do it physically as well. So we are going ahead in the introduction to this webinar. So first of all, you need to know a little bit of JavaScript and HTML5 and CSS and a bit of Node.js. If you got this knowledge, you got on very basic level, it doesn't matter. You will be fine with this framework. With other frameworks, maybe you have to go deep in the language, deep in the specs. But here you don't have the need of to be a master in JavaScript to start doing things, read things in QCObjects. So you just need a basic knowledge. Okay, so okay, we are going ahead. So with only one framework, you can implement all you need for JavaScript and HTML and CSS. That's why QCObjects is full stack, and it's so powerful, because you don't need other frameworks like CSS frameworks or JavaScript framework by separate. You can join all together on one single environment using one single framework. This is so important because this is saving a lot of resources, like money and time for companies and commercial projects. So let's go. So this webinar will be about one part of the whole thing in QCObjects, because QCObjects is a full stack framework. You can do the backend and the frontend side of your project. But this webinar is only about the frontend part of the QCObjects, because it's so extensive, extended. So I don't want to I don't want to make this longer. So I will try to explain as much as I can in a simple way and a clearer way to you to understand the basics of the stuff and the features that you can use in QCObjects. So everything here is for free. You can use all the features that I present for free, and you don't have to register yourself in any website. You don't have to use an API key for that or something. You just use it. Okay. So creating JavaScript web components with QCObjects. How to do that? Let's go in a content table. So the table of contents of this webinar, we will cover the layouts of QCObjects, and then we will go a little bit in the inline templates, and then we will talk about the template files. I will introduce the shadow components, because the shadow components is so powerful to make web components. This is a new advanced way to produce a new document object model in the shadow way. I will explain deep. We'll explain further in the next slides. So after that, we go through the smart widgets. That are a new and fancy way to create components using custom elements. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about CSR versus SSR. That is a common huge trend right now. So layouts. Layouts are very difficult to understand in the beginning, but in QCObjects, layouts are simplified in 3 layouts. So the first layout is the portrait layout that is commonly used for mobile applications. And the second one is a square layout that is used for kind of desktop applications like our Square. And the last is the landscape that is made for common 16:9 aspect relation. That is kind of movie. Or your iPad or tablet in horizontal layout. So with these three layouts, you can form cross. Excuse me. We can form a multi-layout application that is responsive, full responsive, and it works on any size of the screen. So with that in mind, we're gonna code layout. Let's get to know how easy it is to code a layout in QCObjects. So to write layout, you have to write a little bit of code in your component, and you will have to write a tag that is called a style, that is a common HTML tag. And inside this tag, instead of write your styles, you're gonna write this sentence. The first line is calling a layout, a metaprocessor that is called portrait. And for the layout, the portrait layout, it is loading the file myPortraitLayout file.css. And the second line is calling the layout again, but this time is the landscape layout. And the file that is loading is myLandscapeLayout file.css. And the last line is calling the square layout, but assigning the mySquareLayout file.css. So what is going on here? The framework is taking all the layouts classified and is taking all the files, that CSS file you designed it to work in a specific layout, and it is internally classifying and merging into the specific layout. So dynamically, the myPortraitLayout file, by example, will be loaded only for the portrait layout. So when the application is going to portrait mode, this is the file is going to be loaded. But when the size of the application change, this file is not going to rule the styles. It's the other one, the next layout, that is landscape or square. And QCObjects is detecting dynamically the size of the screen. And it is doing by CSS. Internally, the framework is using the media import, the media meta descriptor and the CSS in 3. So you don't need to worry about that. But if you want to go deep, you can look how it works. So inline templates. So to go, another good feature of QCObjects doing web components is the inline templates. You can go and write a component with an inline template, and with inline templates you got a lot of benefits. There is another disadvantage as well that I will go in deep further in the next slide. So how to write an inline template? Well, this is a component. This is a component class declared under QCObjects scope. This is the class function of QCObjects that is creating a component class internally for JavaScript. And the first property of this class is the name of the component, that is my component, and the second property is the template property. And this is an inline template where you can define just writing the text of the template or any format you want. It can be binary as well. So, and the magic is in the property TPL source. When you write TPL source property and its value, it's inline. You're telling QCObjects to take the template property and build an inline component. How to declare this in your HTML part? Well, you just declare a component with using a component tag, and you assign the component class myComponent. This class. The name of this class is myComponent. So you assign it, and internally the framework is going to work for you and create this component and place it in where you have put this tag in your HTML code. So the result dynamically, it's gonna be this, the template you put here, like inside your h1 hello world, it's gonna be put here inside the component tag, and this is gonna be all dynamic. You don't need any transpiler or any build process to do that. The framework is doing all on the runtime. So another thing powerful about the inline templates, that you can use template bars inside. So if you add a property called data to your component declaration, you can add the name definition as a template bar inside your template. So if you use in that way, you're gonna have this kind of result. Excuse me. It's like hello John instead of hello world, because we got the name here that is calling the name of there. That is its value is John, so it's replacing it dynamically. So with another amazing feature here that is called metaprocessors. In the templates, you can call metaprocessor to do special behaviors in your template. So here we have myComponent class again, but in a data property, we got a first name and a last name. And in the template, we got the full name, metaprocessor. And what is going on here? What is full name doing? Well, to define the full name metaprocessor, you're gonna write a function in your JavaScript, and it's as easy as that. So you write this function and you assign it to the processors doing this sentence. So, and the metaprocessor full name with the money, I think, money symbol in the beginning as a prefix, it's registered as a function called font name without the symbol. Okay, beware of that, because sometimes you're gonna be confused about the name. How do I use the symbol or not? This is kind of confusing sometimes, but day by day you're gonna be more familiarized with that. So again, we got our dynamic result. The full name metaprocessor is calling the name and the last name, and it's joining and put it there in the template dynamically. this is very powerful and very useful for advanced data management on runtime. So one kind of advantage of using inline templates is full control of the load by JavaScript. So because of you are declaring the component class in JavaScript and you're loading the template in an inline template in JavaScript, you got full control of that, and this is not, you're not gonna need another part of your code somewhere else to control how the template is loaded. And another cool thing, it's synchronous components building. That means once a component building process is done, it goes the second one without interruptions and without delay between them. One disadvantage is lack of behavior decoupling. What is that? Well, in simple words, we got this. If you got this template, you're not gonna have to separate the code, split the code. You can't. So if you can't split the code, probably you're gonna have to be very, very careful to not become your code into spaghetti code. But that's why we got the template files. This is cool, right? So for every problem, we have a solution. So the template files are kind of different from iframes. Traditional iframes from the HTML are very powerful. And you can use it as well in QCObjects, but sometimes they are complex to implement because of CSP rules. CSP rules is content security policy rules. Probably you have heard about the cross-origin problem, that you can call external iframes from your website, or some websites are trying to use yours as inside an iframe. So iframes are very discouraging this time to use because of that problems. Well, in QCObjects you have an alternative to this problem, but also you have a solution for the CSP rules, using the component as an external template file. So in this case, to declare a component, you just need to name a component in the component tag, and the name, in this case my component, is making a reference to my component.html. You can also change the template extension. We will be going deep in next webinars about this. But at this time, this is a good example of how you declare a component as an external template file, and it always works despite of CSP rules. So the result is that you can write extended HTML in a simple file. In this file, myComponent.html, you can also use template bars and meta processors, as you use it in inline templates. You can also use here the same way, but in an external file. Isn't it beautiful? So Some advantage of using dynamic template files are efficient code splitting, highest performance on load, and on-demand resources. So this is good to know, because other frameworks don't have the code splitting. Other frameworks are struggling with that. You probably have now an application that is written in, I don't know, I don't want to name other frameworks, but probably you know the triangle thing. Or the reactive components. Or I don't know, there are many frameworks on there, but they are all struggling with the code splitting thing. They can't in an easy way split the code into layers. So with these template files, there's so much more in QCObjects for code splitting. We will go deep in further webinars. But this is the starting point to split the code all your components in runtime. So you don't need bundlers to and you don't need expensive cloud sizes in your virtual machines. This is good, okay? And you also got the highest performance on load. This is good as well, because you don't have to join all the files in just one big file. This is in my opinion, is a bad performance. If you split your code in smaller files and you deliver one by one in a very synchronized way, in an asynchronous loading, but very managed in detail by the engine. This is going to be the highest performance. So this is what QCObjects does for you. You don't have to do anything to in order to achieve high performance on load. You can do better into your code, but not into the framework. So and all the resources are loaded on demand, so browsers also can block all the damage if you have got some big file and you don't know it in your project. The browser will detect it, and the load will be not blocking the other resources loaded. This is good as well, because your application will work. Doesn't matter how big are your files. But here we have some disadvantage in comparison with the inline templates. Well, I think my preferred way to work is through template files, but also sometimes it's better to go in inline templates for particular reasons. One reason is when you don't want asynchronous loading. When you just want synchronous loading for your components, you probably need to go through the inline templates instead of template files. This is not really a disadvantage, because it's a kind of a feature. Line Torvalds told it's not a bug, it's a feature. So I can say this is a feature as well. Well, control of this resource loads splits in HTML and JavaScript. This is another kind of thing that you probably don't want so much. But again, in QCObjects, this is reducing the risk of code control splitting. These things you have to be ordered. You have to be very, very clear what do you want to write. But yeah, this is kind of disadvantage if you compare with the inline templates. Well, shadow components. Shadow components are so powerful. And there is no, I can't think in another framework that was implementing it so well and so easy form. In QCObjects, this is so easy to implement a shadow component. Well, to understand shadow, what is shadow components? We have to explain a little bit what are the component rendering layers in QCObjects. I go full screen for that. So for the component rendering layers, we got this components container that is on the border, and inside that we got the components body. That is what is inside the component, basically. That is what is shown to the browser. And the template render side is drawing a DOM, but QCObjects is deciding what DOM. If it's a lighting DOM, a normal DOM, or a shadow DOM. And templates can be rendered in a DOM or a shadow DOM, but not both of them. Okay. So how do you say a component is lighting component? Well, the normal component is a lighting component. Lighting component is basically a non-shadow component. And to declare a shadow component, you just need to add To declare a shadow component, you just need to add a shadow equal 3 attribute into your component declaration. So if your component has this attribute, you're gonna have a shadow component instantly. Don't need to do any other thing. QCObjects will do it for you. And the result, you can also declare a component in a component class. You just need to add the shadow property with the value 2, and again you will have the same result. So here we're going to talk about smart widgets. The smart widgets are a fancy way to register a component as a DOM, custom element. This is basically, you can call a component as a custom element. And that's it. To do that, you have to register using the function register widget. This is so powerful to use into when you write a very complex component like a checkbox that is combined with some behavior when selected and is showing some image on there, you can declare a custom component, and you can deliver it as a smart widget. And you can write a library on that, and you can have others using your smart widget as a custom element. This is so cool. And the last topic is about CSR versus SSR. So the CSR stands for client-server rendering, and the SSR stands for server-side rendering. So what's the difference? Well, here's a low-code capsule that is basically an application, or it can be a component or group of components that are working together. And this diagram is drawing the flow, basically the data flow inside the component, whole component function. So the first step is taking the data. The framework is taking the data and going through browser state and assign it to a routing. And then after that, the component route is taking a path and delivered to a service. This is a flow for client-side rendering. Okay, this is when you call it from the client side and you declare the component is loaded in the client. So the service is taking some data from anywhere. It can be from an API or from an internal combined service from another controller or another definition that you have done in your code, and transforming the data. And when it transforms the data, it is delivering it it is delivering it to the controller, and the controller, it has a done method that you have to define inside the controller, and this is gonna do something that you want, and then it returns to the flow, and you can do whatever you want with it, the data processing. You can use also a view to do some more things, and then the services as well is taking the data to either the template by an automatic way, or to the data. Because you know the service has a response. The response can be a JSON, or it can be a HTML text or raw text. You can deliver either to the data as to process it better with the template processors, or you can deliver it right to the template. Well, and here is the same flow, but applied to the server-side rendering. So in the server-side rendering, the data is taken from a form request, and it's commonly taken by an HTTP2 request, and then is delivered to the backend routing, and then is processed by the config rules, and it is delivered to the new gateway. And this is a new concept in the server-side rendering, because you got gateways. You can find your own gateways. You can make it, and you can produce to be used by third-party applications that can use your gateway. And you also can produce handlers, and the gateway is taking the data and passing it to a handler, and then it is assigning to a component, and the component is returning the response to the browser again. So this is basically the main difference between the server-side rendering and the client-side rendering. So if you stay here for a while, I will share some live code with you, doing some application in the IntelliJ IDEA to explain better some things I've been talking here. So keep online.
With QCObject framework and create applications in one stick. Install it now in DigitalOcean on Amazon Web Services in just one click.
Good. So in IntelliJ IDEA, we're gonna start doing a new project. So I'll do here. I will push the new project button. The option web. So you go here and we put a name for a project. We're gonna call it demo web. So we're gonna call it demo QCObjects. Web. Okay, this is cool. So here we can select the content root, the module file location, the project format. Well, we just leave it as it is and click on finish. And here we got the project, this is a blank project. Okay. And because of that, we're gonna have to create something here. So we are on a terminal. And in the terminal, we just need to install QCObjects. If we got Node.js already installed, we don't need to install Node.js. If you don't got Node.js, you need to install it first. So, and because of this is not a webinar about Node.js, I will not explain you how to install Node.js. You have to find it for yourself, by yourself. But once you have Node.js installed, you can go here and type npm e npm I -g new call QCObjects -cli and hit enter. Now you got installed the QCObjects into your computer. So we have tested. We can call it with --version. So here we have the 2.366 LTS version. So this is the latest long-term support version. Okay. So we're gonna have to create our application to fill up our project. So we just type QCObjects create app and hit enter. And again, we're gonna hit enter because we don't have a Git repository URL yet. So we just hit enter by now. So the app generation is started. And we just have to wait a little bit. In the meantime, because this is a live webinar, so we have to wait a bit for this. So we can talk about something. So I think this was very interesting. There is a lot of people interested in this webinar. I can see more than 200 people. This is awesome today. Just for today, 200 people in an event is very cool. Thank you for that. Thank you for your interest and to learn in deep about JavaScript and QCObjects. I would like to share more knowledge with more time. Probably soon we will produce more events like that, like this one, to share with you some very specific parts of the code. But today we just can go in some details. Okay. So here we go. The application is done. And what do we have? Here we have a lot of new files. With an index. We click on that. We got some code on there. So this is an application that is composed by HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and it is using QCObjects to expand all these languages. So here we have the splash screen, the layout. This is a smart widget. Okay, this is what they call a smart widget. calling the layout basic. So if we want to run this application, we have to add a configuration here. And because of we added our application with the CLI, it goes with a special configuration here. So we just click in the QCObjects server and click OK. And we got the run button here. Now we got the run button here. So we can click on that. And we're just running our application. So this is running. And we can see the live code here. Very cool. So we're gonna change something. Probably this button install. We're gonna take it off. So we have to go to this component. This is the header component. We go header here. And here's the button. And we're just commenting the button. Let's see what happens. Number button. So instant. So here you can explore all this application, and you want to find all the things that we are talking about, the components. Here are the external files. So here you have the component layout basic is calling the layout basic here, and here you got the other, and here you got the other components. This is a component called header, so this is why it's calling to the header file. And also we have here the top menu that is here. Top menu. So every component has its own file in this application, and it's needed. And sometimes you use a controller class like this, header controller. And this header controller is on here. These packages, controllers, and I can collapse this. And here's the header controller. This is displaying the navbar, and it's controlling also some custom behavior. So, what do you think? This is the demonstration about how powerful is QCObjects to create components. So that's good. let's see one more thing. Well, I hope you enjoy this webinar. I have no more time to post more things. So probably we're gonna have to schedule another webinar soon to explain more in detail. Thank you very much for your attendance, and we are happy to share more knowledge every time. If you want to contribute to QCObjects, you just need to go to the GitHub repo. Here. So here is a GitHub repo, and you just need to go to the contributing, read the rules, and you can contribute. I invite you to start the project and for the project, and let's keep in touch with more content soon. Thank you very much.